Sure. On June 11, 2014, I was arrested by Detective Carpenter and Detective Fine. I was thrown in jail for 2 days, and they had searched my home and my car and took my property, as you see in front of you, and they kept it for a year. I have requested multiple times from the city attorney as well as the police department for my police reports from the day that I was arrested on June 11, 2014, and spent 2 days in jail. To this day, they have refused to release the police reports and has anything to do with my arrest on June 11, 2014. They've refused to tell me what exactly they arrested me for. They waited a year to file a charge of disorderly conduct. Since then, I've requested a jury multiple times. I want a fair trial in front of a jury, and I think the facts warrant.
Okay, so I'm going to interrupt you right there, sir. The reason why I want to do this, I've already ruled on that because the statutes don't permit that, but to have a jury trial. But the concern that I have, like I said earlier, is that you're talking about some things that, was there any evidence, let me ask Ms. Iceland, was there any evidence uncovered at the time of the defendant's arrest that will be used in this trial today?
You mean subsequent to February?
Right, June 11th.
No, Your Honor.
All
Other
right.
than
That answers my question.
Great, thank you.
All right, so here's just the best advice I can give you in this. Like I said, there's a division of labor, and the division of labor is you have some issues that there may be things about this that are really not my concern and the court's concern here, but that doesn't mean that they're not of concern to you. And it sounds like you may have issues with regard to, the open records law, for example, and there is a mechanism, if you look in Chapter 19 of the Wisconsin statutes, that you can follow to obtain open records. I know that I saw a number of subpoenas that were quashed, and a lot of this seemed to be far afield from what we are here for today, and that's why. But just, like I said, there's other forums to address the things you're interested in. So I'm going to encourage you to, study up on that because, you may have claims that can be raised in other places.
I'm just saying I'm not prepared to go to court today because I haven't received my police reports from the day that I was arrested.
Well, I don't believe that's the city attorney has told me that there's nothing in that evidence that's going to be used here today, if there's any evidence of that.
If that's
so
the
it wouldn't
case,
be relevant.
Then why won't they release it?
That's not my issue to debate, nor yours.
Well, it is my
today.
issue because I was arrested.
I'm sorry, sir. The court has ruled on that. It's basically like trying to talk to, the Detroit Lions about the Bears beating the Packers. It's two different games. And unless there's the relationship that's going to be used as evidence here today, we're going to have to move on that. But that's not to say that you don't have an opportunity to examine that issue in a different forum at another date as to whether or not you made an appropriate public records request and you were denied. As far as discovery can be more limited than a public records request, but in this case here, we're going to proceed on, but I do want you to know that there may be other avenues for you to examine the issues that you're concerned about. And I don't know if this dialogue has occurred with anyone else that you've talked to. So if it has, and I'm repeating myself, I apologize. But, like I said, I just want to try to at least, I can't give you specific advice, at least steer you in the direction that says, there's places that you can go to address some of the other issues that you raised that may not be relevant and material to the very narrow thing that's before us today. So with that, we'll proceed. Is there anything you want me to look for, though, in the evidence, in the February 4th incident?
Again, they waited 4 months to make this arrest.
Sir, that's a collateral issue. I'm going back specifically to February 4th.
I just want you to be aware that they're withholding information.
I will duly note that, although my hands, are a little more tied in that. Again, we're in a narrower forum, but that's not to say that you don't have something that can be raised somewhere else.
Thank you.
All right? And again, I understand that when you are pro se, that it's a little more different. We certainly expect the rules to be followed, although there is a little bit of elasticity, but it's not total. Let me also suggest what I am going to be looking at least from what I can tell here, is two areas. And it's the one that I didn't see you reference in any of your pleadings, and that is to whether or not any of your conduct that is alleged, whatever it may be, is constitutionally protected. Under, for example, the First Amendment or Article 1, Section 3 of the Wisconsin Constitution. So, the court will be keeping an eye out on that issue. However, bear in mind that conduct that may be constitutionally protected is not entirely protected. The old adage of, you can't yell fire, you may have the right of free speech, but you can't yell fire in the crowded theater. So at some point, you have to look at protected activity and see whether or not the protection may have been lost. And the court will keep an eye out for that, because you haven't raised it. It might not be an issue, but it might be an issue. And, I saw you raise a lot of other issues that really don't appear to be material or relevant, but you may have some issues that are material and relevant. I don't know for a fact, but we'll keep an eye out on that for you.
Thank you.
All right?
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much.